Hello everyone, welcome. And since I'm also now live on YouTube as well, it's coming through. So just need to make myself prepared. Yeah. Hello everyone. There's a little bug actually in the studio that came. You might see it flying over my head at some point. Hello, everyone who's watching at YouTube. Welcome for Sangha, and welcome for Zoom in-house people as well. So, namaste. In the time when you're ready, if you have any question, please do feel free to start the conversation.
So Yogi, I think we have a first question maybe from Therese, who's here with us here on Zoom.
Would she like to start her herself, or you going to read for me, please?
I will ask it myself, Yogi.
Me too. That's such a brave, what do you call it, capacity that you have developed. So it's nice to see that it is.
Yeah, my question is about forgiveness. and first, can any action be forgiven if you're subject to injustice or a crime? At what level can that crime be forgiven? I just want to know how you think about it.
Forgiveness. You mean forgiveness?
Yes.
Do you know the forgiveness is such a interesting topic because first of all you need to ask or you need to understand what forgiveness is. If you're looking from a spiritual point of view, who is forgiving who? Who is forgiving who? And if you believe there is nobody in nothing exists, it only becomes mental exercise. So you talking to yourself to make a peace. If it's a spiritual terms, this what is inside you and outside is, can you forgive the God? If there is such thing, or the soul or the Atman, or if we take it in material terms, how do you know at that time the mind was aware the what crime they did? So you cannot forgive the unawareness, or you cannot make responsible for unawareness. So if somebody did deliberately something against you, against for your interest, against for any form of crime at the time of doing, and then later on they became aware of it, can you hold them responsible for? Let's say the you have a very important meeting. I give you example of, and you ask somebody ask them a time for the train, or they give you wrong information, and you might have prevented something unlucky happening to, if you have catch that train or the flight, but person give you the time wrong. Will you make that person responsible to committing the hideous mistake? Or will you try to forgive that person if the person intentionally did it, to cause pain and harm to you, then it's a different circumstances, equation. Or how do you sit inside with that circumstances? It personally, in my opinion, there is no one to forgive. You are not forgiven somebody else apart from making the peace with yourself and creating the ability to accept the person's action. So if there is nobody to forgive, if you talk about forgiving as in a normal terms because somebody did a bad thing, you want to forgive them. So what forgiveness creates? It creates a sense of peace inside you, creates the possibility to accept somebody. So it's not about somebody else, it's actually about you. So if you can find a peace inside you, or if you can come to the terms of acceptance of the circumstances and situation, forgiveness is actually not needed. If the forgiveness can also come from place of ego. Forgiveness can come from place of superiority. Look at me, how great I am, I can forgive you. So that can also have a negative implication as well. So if we come from a place of acceptance, there is no need to forgive. And there is nobody to forgive. Because end of the day, it is your terms, the outcome, what forgiveness will do to make peace inside you so you can actually continue the life. Even they did deliberately or knowingly, not knowingly, they have committed a crime. You can forgive them or not forgive them. Person who's going to suffer is you. So always try to accept, to make peace with the people, what they have done to their best of their ability, the best of their knowledge. So forgiveness is not actually exist at all. If you look at from a the higher point of view, forgiveness does not exist at all. Forgiveness is just a way to self-negotiation, self-convincing to make peace with that circumstance or that situation. You can label that as a forgiveness, or you can make a religious relationship with it, that you are forgiven. If the forgiveness creates a superiority inside you or creates a certain level of ego boost inside you, is actually doing you a harm, not good anymore. So you ask my opinion, I just accept people as they are. They do lots of things knowingly, sometimes not knowingly. I don't need to forgive anyone because they never actually affect. If I accept them as they are, there is no need to forgive anyone because there is nobody to forgive him. It becomes a mental exercise. Okay. I hope that makes some sense to you.
Yes, it does. Because I was thinking about if you say somebody steal my car and I report the person to the police and the person gets sentenced to punishment. Mm-hmm. Can I still say that I forgive somebody if I report the crime? Or is that kind of me wanting a kind of revenge by reporting someone?
It depends. If somebody stole the car, maybe need more than you. It's coming from the different place. Whatever he gonna do with the money, with that probably need more than you. But it's coming from a careless point of view. But we live in the logistic, law-driven society. You don't know what circumstances create to that person to steal your car. You only can judge from your perception. You understand? You report that person get prison. Maybe he stole it for drugs. Maybe he stole because he have habit of stealing. Maybe he's not a criminal at all. Maybe he stole it because maybe he need to submit his education. Maybe now you get recorded. Maybe society created the circumstances for him to steal something. So have a compassion, point one. Second, have ability of acceptance of the person who actually stole it. Maybe if you know somebody who stole it, try to go and communicate, find out to the bottom of it. Still, you raise the awareness of it. Don't support the crime. Don't bear yourself under the burden of the crime. It all depends what place you are coming from. If you're coming from a place of compassion or coming from place tit for tat, because your mind is either completely logistic, black and white, or if you're judging the person from place of spirituality or compassion, you will have different definition, different judgment to it. If you're coming from a place of resentment, anger, frustration because you want to teach a lesson, because you're a civilized citizen, you will report the person and the person will go to prison. Doesn't matter. Why would he do that? So it depends what space of mind you are in. Okay, so I will not suggest anyone to steal, first of all, because which is actually not needed. If you need something, maybe you go and ask. Maybe Therese may give it to you her car without actually even stealing it. She might be compassionate enough. So if somebody is actually thinking about it, are you in the position, or somebody has come along, the same person ask you, can I have your car please because I need it more than you? Would you have given it? Maybe not, maybe yes. So if somebody, first of all, prevent, so nobody actually can steal it. Second, somebody do steal it, try to find out why. And I give you an example, my grandfather used to say, whatever good you do in life, never expect anything returned, even a thank you. Even you're expecting a thank you, that is a expectation, because you are not doing it from place of compassion or from place of love. And my other teacher was also my family member, my father, and he used to say opposite to him. He said, if whatever I'm giving, somebody take it away, never give it back, is maybe an investment in the future. He believed in a reincarnation, obviously. So maybe next lifetime he will give it back to me. If he had taken it, maybe I owed him from previous life, I have brought my karma to a zero balance. So always in a good favor. So it's not to have too much concern in life. It's that all those spiritual statements and even what they do is to give you a certain level of peace inside you. So you don't feel disheartened, you don't feel discouraged, you don't feel lost, rage, anger. Those things actually goes away to create a peace by yourself. With having certain principles inside you, you create a peace. If the guy is going to the prison in your case, after stealing the car, did your car come back? Probably not. But the guy actually have gone to the prison. So it doesn't really do much to you either. Person get consequences, he gets punished because of what karma he did. You don't know what karma he did. So it's all is uncertain, is all depend what the place you are coming from. Is not about things, it's always about you again. What is your intention at the time of reporting? Is intention of revenge, intention of getting somebody a police despite your car but deliberately left by you to be stolen? I don't know that. Neither police know that. So it all depend by your own intention. If you can develop the compassion or love inside you to that situation, towards to that being, how would you react? At that present moment, you will be able to make a better call. Having a conversation about it will be a different story. If it makes sense to you, Therese?
Yes, absolutely. Thank you, Yogi.
So important part of any spiritual practices, developing the ability to take a decision according to circumstances, according to time, according to the place where you are in. That what spirituality teaches. Same message in Bhagavad Gita, Des, Kal, Pravritti. Person who actually knows the Des, Kal, Pravritti, yoga actually teaches you to understand Des means place, Kal means time, Pravritti circumstances of the nature of the decision you need to make at the time. So spirituality, if you have not developed that ability, maybe one day you may report to somebody. I might report to somebody if somebody is actually doing nuisance to the child, or somebody is, let's say, pedophile, or somebody is abusing somebody. If I'm not possible to control it, I will definitely report it. So it's depend on the what kind of call I'm taking at the time.
Mm.
I may never harm somebody in my life, but if I see if something that most hideous thing is taking place, I may not have compassion at that time. I may take the action. I might even slap somebody. You might even kick somebody, depending what circumstances are. So for me to predict that in the future, but that punishment or try to do something to somebody may also come from place of love, because the person should not do, the person who's actually suffering also needs love as well. So sometimes your action that may look very harsh, but also come from place of love. Like a child running towards to train, train is coming, you grab the hand, you pull it really, really harshly, and the child may hurt, may have a bruises, but what you did at the time, it was not act of a harassment, it's not an act of a child abuse, but it was done in the favor to save somebody's life. So it's all depend where you are in that place according to the what circumstances it is. Okay. So anybody else have any other question? No question? Anybody else on YouTube have any question? I know there's few people are watching. So I give you a story. There was a king, a very famous story, you might actually heard about it before too. A king was sleeping very happily, comfortably. And he had a dream. He had a dream. He becomes a beggar. Beggar to the point his clothes were ripped off and completely begging. He's hungry, he's starving. walking place to place. Finally, he come to the place where somebody can give him food, where the food distribution 24/7. They also run out of the food, they ain't nothing left. But the person is begging, asking over and over, saying because he's starving, they actually scrape it out of the pot and give him a little bit of food. He was so happy that he actually managed to get a bit of food. And all of a sudden, he sees two dogs coming, fighting, started attacking him. He also actually lost whatever food he was given. So now he's actually starving with no food in his system. He have lost everything. He basically naked walking down the streets, completely traumatized. And all of a sudden, the fear of the dog barking and the heat of walking down the street with hunger, he's about to basically die. Fatigue, fainted, just about to die. In the moment of the death, he literally grasped for the next breath. He woke up and frightened in his royal palace, the royal bed, where people were actually doing the fan, nice comfortable bed. Now he's traumatized. He's totally traumatized, doesn't know which one was the real. For a moment, he thinks what he thinks, it is not the real, that was the real, or this is the real. He calls together and asks people. And most people were not able to answer, because if you are a king, there's lots of people may not actually be answering, because you don't know which way it can go. But there's says Astabakra, the king was going through his passenger who goes in the ahead leading of the herd goes along, say, please, can you move? Because king is coming. He says, who is your king? Can you not see I'm crippled? Your king can turn the direction, can carry on. This is my reality. I cannot move. So the king goes and talks to the Astabakra, the sage Astabakra. And he speaks to find out. Astabakra says, when you were dreaming, that was the reality. Now you are awake, that is the reality. For the mind. Or both of them actually not reality at all. You are beyond both of them. Your presence to witness that, your presence to witness this. You are witnessing, that is the reality, not what you are witnessing in the reality. So your forgiveness or not forgiveness, these are all act of mind. They don't go with you. Remember that. They don't really go with you. Unless you create an identity with them, then there's a possibility you might carry on them for next lifetime. So, is there any other question there in the group? I can see a message, but I can't read. Let me see if I can read it.
Yeah. I don't see any questions on YouTube at this time.
Okay, so you know the forgiveness and the reality are all relative. You cannot forgive anyone, and there is nobody to forgive. And what you perceive is the reality of that moment, but reality is constantly changing. There is yourself who is witnessing everything. Maybe real also subject to change. If your consciousness is not transforming, evolving, you are stuck in the mind. There should be a flow of transformation. Truth is never fixed. Remember that. There is two truths. One is a ultimate truth. One is a projected truth. What we live day-to-day life is a projected truth. That's not ultimate truth. Sometimes we make mistake. We believe the projected truth is the reality. Similarly, when we talk about self, your higher self, the lower self is the same. Only difference is when your higher self living in ignorance, in total darkness, so-called classified Maya forms a ego. When yourself living in the presence of light, in presence of clarity, you call it in a state of light, means enlightened, means your higher self. You are living with the presence of your higher self. So your higher self and lower self is the same, your ego and not ego is the same. The moment your higher self claims that I have no ego, that becomes itself an ego. So it's just everything subject to moment decision. You are absolutely perfect as you are. Drop the psychology looking for a fault in you constantly. One step. Second step, try to align with the awareness or the consciousness of the self-presence inside you and constantly refining, constantly transforming, not make it fix. The day you make it fix, you create yourself a possibility of a mind game, mind trap. Spirituality and materialism, both are parallel existence. They both are parallel existence, like a river is flowing. River is flowing. This side is materialism, this side is completely two opposite parallel realities. As we get trained through the life, as we get trained through the life. But the river itself, the life force holding them together, separating them. It's not about right side or left side. If you look both of them at the bottom of the river, they're both meeting together. There is no spirituality, there is no materialism. What is important, the essence, the water, what makes spirituality, who experience spirituality, who experience materialism. The water touching the right side as well as the left side, but not claiming to be either of them. So important part to develop the nature, not to identify, just you feel the presence, witness inside you, develop the content meant inside of your higher self or your existence to the maximum awareness of your inner truth, projected or ultimate truth of your awareness. You live your life according to that. Day to day, every action you do, every moment to moment decision you make, you do not need to fear. The day you drop the fear or looking for a recognition or looking for a identity, your loss of sufferings will come to an end. As long as you have any of mental nagging, looking for identity, claiming to the ego, or validation, not for you, but from other people, you will always have a problem. No matter how knowledgeable you are. I'd actually never understood this whole cosmic creation, the vibration. You think God is only worried about you? Probably not. Better things to do in life. Even your relatives are not worried about you 24/7. Even you are not worried about yourself 24/7. You are worried about other people. So, need to find you have a viveka, ability to discern, buddhi, viveka buddhi, and your senses to create action, create a greater harmony amongst them. When your senses are aligned with your intelligence and your viveka, your ability to discern, you live your truth in that moment. That will create a path of truth. That will create the path of swadharma, self-dharma. Anytime when your senses are not aligned with your viveka, anytime when your senses are not aligned with your intelligence, and viveka and intelligence are not aligned together, your mind is malfunctioning, your senses are malfunctioning, and you will constantly create a problem for yourself. Always constantly having issues with life. To have a peace, happiness, bliss, love, compassion, whatever you are looking for. Align your senses, your intelligence senses, your action senses, along with your intelligence, along with the viveka, which is a ability to discern, and create a total vairagya, dispassion to claiming any outcome of it. You are living monk, doesn't matter where you are. So, important part, how to create a harmony within yourself should be the main agenda, not chasing spirituality. We miss some time inner harmony or the inner peace. We get so stuck up or constantly get sidetracked with the values of spirituality, but not being spiritual at all. So align your what do you call it? Word is spiritual. If you look at it, spirit. Spirit is there. Try to cultivate the spirit inside you. There's a difference between spirit and passion. I'm talking about inner spirit. Passion is a separate thing. Sometimes you confuse what you're passionate about. Oh, that's my spirit. Actually, not. So spirit is jiva. Make sure your jiva feel contained, not influenced into indulgence, but contained. So on that note, I hope you enjoy your practice. That's enough for today. If you have any question, you can do ask. I give you today a remedy how to be happy, how to be contained, how to find the peace, how to find the love, how to be have a inner harmony, develop the vairagya, total dispassion, renunciation to the outcome of any action. But does not mean you drop the action. Create a intelligence, a viveka, combine together, make a decision to do through your senses. If you can fit them together, you will have a greater harmony inside you, also around you. You don't need to look for peace. Peace will automatically get cultivated inside you. You don't need to create a peace. Peace is a byproduct of how your senses, intelligence, and viveka is working together. Okay. Thank you, everyone. Namaste. Hari Om. Does anybody have any questions before I end the meeting?